everyone, how are you doing? I miss you all, but today I wanted to read you a story. Yes, this story is about a little boy in Switzerland. Where is Switzerland? Are we reading about Europe? And Mrs. Moore was talking about Europe is made up of a lot of different countries. And one of the countries is Switzerland. And my cousins lived in Switzerland many years ago, but they were about your age when they lived in Switzerland. And they sent me back a book. And I loved it, and I want to share it with you. And it's called A Bell for Ursli. Now, this book takes place in Switzerland, and there's a little explanation. And it says, all through the summer, in the mountains of Switzerland, the cattle feed on the mountain meadows, carrying bells around their neck. The calves have little bells, and the cows have big ones. When they come into their sheds for the winter, the bells are taken off. In March, when winter is over, kind of like right now, the spring festival comes, and the bells are rung in the village and to celebrate the end of cold, dark days. All the boys in the procession march in the procession throughout the streets, each one carrying the biggest bell he can. And they ring their bells to drive winter away and welcome back spring. The village people smile and fill the bells with cakes and nuts and apples. But only the biggest boys can carry the big bells. The little boys come at the tail of the procession or the parade, carrying little calf bells. And this is the story of Ursli and his adventure when the spring festival comes around, when he decides he's old enough for a big bell. Are you ready? Let's begin. Okay. Let's see. High in the mountains, far and blue, there lives a small boy just like you. See the wee village, poor but neat? His is the last house in the street. The house is old and snug and small, with pictures painted on the wall. Look closer. Do you see those two, standing dressed in red and blue? A man and his wife with one small son. His name is Ursli. See him run. So there we go. Here's our mountain boy you see, quite like a man, you must agree. Upon his head a pointed hat. The mountain too is shaped like that. It's made of soft wool from the sheep, now in Ursli's stable sleep. For Ursli's mom spins, weaves, and stitches, and knits his shirt and hat and breeches. Breeches are pants. His father has the boots to make, and toils all day for Ursli's sake. So there's our friend Ursli. But Ursli helps his father too, as much as any man would do. Waters the cows and brings them hay, cleans out the stalls by break of day. When his mother calls him to the house, Ursli comes scurrying like a mouse. To bring the yoke with water pails, or to help cook he never fails. To milk his friend the goat and see, the milk froth white as white can be. Okay, well this is a yoke, and that helps him carry these heavy pails. And there's his friend the goat. He's milking the goat. Because goats have milk just like cows. When he's done everything he's able in the yard, in the house and yard, in the shed and stable, he rushes out with a cheerful noise, to play with all the village boys. Today he tells them he must borrow a bell that he can ring tomorrow. In the procession of bells, see how with pride young Ursula swells? He thinks he'll get a large and loud and help the big boys lead the crowd. So there he's going off to play, but he wants that big bell, doesn't he? Ah, tricky page. There we go. At Uncle Gan's farmhouse all, the boys for bells have come to call. Good uncle quickly brings them out, and everyone begins to shout, "The big one's mine! I want the best!" Ursli is pushed behind the rest, and when at last the front he gains, the tiniest tinkle bell remains. Now he sheds sad and bitter tears. He'll be the laughing stock he fears. The boys already laugh and boo. "Tinkle Bell Ursli, look at you." That's not very kind. When the procession marches past, "Tinkerbell Ursli, you'll be last." See that little bell? All of them have big bells. And those are cowbells that they put around the cows so they know where they are. Okay. He looks like he's got some thinking to do. The boys go off. They all despise him. Poor Ursli's bell quite horrifies him. He hoped to march in front this year, not with all the small boys in the rear. In front, the fine young men march proudly, swinging their bells and singing loudly. They lead the way with clank and yell, past every stable very well. In every house they march about, ringing to drive the winter out. And then with all their might they sing to welcome back a happy spring. Then everybody's glad and thrilled. With nuts and cakes the bells are filled. But outside in the crisp, cold snow, the little boys must wait, you know. With little calf bells they come to bring their empty pockets home. Ursli no calf intends to be, Tinkle Bell Ursli not is he. He's ready to do anything, but all ideas have taken wing. He thinks and thinks, then gives a hop. Their summer hut on the mountaintop. There on a big nail there used to hang as big a bell as ever rang. Uh-oh, what do you think he's going to do? Oh, I hope he's not going to. Let's see. As quick as thought, he's on his way. No fears would make our Ursli stay. He braves dark forest, footpaths steep, the narrow bridge, the chasm deep. So there he's going across the chasm. Chasm is big hole in the mountains on a rickety bridge. But soon his burst of joy is done as he climbs higher near the sun. The snow is melting, in he sinks. Above his knees, poor Ursli thinks. He's going to cry, but who will hear? No crying will bring his mother near. Perhaps the great bell, after all, no longer hangs upon the wall. If it's not there, he thinks in sorrow, whatever should I do tomorrow? But forward he goes, his steps again, and now the hut grows near and plain. Glowing beneath the sunset light, Ursli sees it come into sight. So there it is. So here he is. He's climbing up to that mountain, to the cabin. The hard climb's done. He's there at last, but now he finds the door shut fast. Nor will his shaking move the thing. The key is kept on his father's ring. Still, there's a window, Ursli's thin. He can manage to squeeze in. Uh-oh, he's going in through the window. The nail's still there, and on it, yes! The great bell hangs, as we can guess. Tinkerbell Ursli, see him grin. Oh, How they'll stare when I walk in. He scrambled on the bed and stretched, high up on the wall, and down it's fetched. Heavy and round, how fine you see a belt of embroidery. To hang it from with clasp of gold, how it rings so clear and bold. Look at that bell. By now he's hungry as can be. He looks around, what can he see? Ah, hanging up above the dishes, a loaf, the very thing he wishes. He's tired, then he sits down, and it's grand to eat, but he's tired out from head to feet. And since he's free from every care, slumbers softly, light as air. The bed of straw is a cozy nest. In deep sound sleep, Ursli rests. All that mountain climbing made him a little tired. Now in the valley far below, the house and stable homeward go. Tired men and beasts to dream at ease, but underneath the mountain trees, small fox and chamus, deer and hare, out in the snow must coldly fare. There in the moonlight they can trace child's footprints on the earth's white face. And up in the snow track, softly creeping, they reach the hut with Ursli sleeping. Fox pricks his ears and says to the ear, I wonder, what can that boy be doing there? So they're all out there. Well, mother's waiting. Darkness reigns. Small stars shine through the window panes. She looks all around in street and square to see if Ursli's hiding there, while father by the stove sits down and asks quite crossly for his son. But though every house they call, no one has seen the boy at all. And still no Ursli they discover. In vain the lantern lights the gloom. It beams do not bring Ursli home. Do you think they're a little worried? I do. His anxious parents, sad, worn and sad, go home again without their lad. They sit and watch the pine logs burn, and still their boy does not return. Poor mother weeps, the clock ticks on. Alas, where could have Ursli gone? Father can't settle anyhow. He starts to carve his son a cow. The village sleeps, but wide awake they sit and wait for day to break. So look at, they're very nervous. I'd be nervous if you didn't come home one night. Now swiftly flies the deep dark night. The mountain sees the sun's first light. And as the sunny morning breaks, young Ursli rubs his eyes and wakes. He must at once be on his way. Whatever will his parents say? He takes the bell, quick see him go, running across the firm, hard snow. For overnight it froze again, on mountain and pasture and wood and plain. The animals see far and wide, so swiftly is Ursli's homeward stride. So he ran home. So there he is. And he's got that bell. I wonder what happens on the parade. A twinkling, and as you can see, before his own carved door stands he. 3 times he bangs the knocker down, and footsteps to the door have flown. That bell is almost bigger than him. Quick at the latch his mother tugs. Her darling son she sees and hugs, while Ursli climbs her skirt and clings, his arms and bell around her flings. The bell procession on its way, and who's that in front? Hooray! It's little Ursli, ding dong dell, who has by far the biggest bell. And everyone is full of joy to see once more that little boy. So there he is, right in the front. You see the other little boy, the other boys? The one in back is the smallest. To dinner now the three sit down. Vanished is every care and frown. And Ursli, his adventure past, tells all that happened first to last. And how he escaped from shame. Father's too overjoyed to blame. Mother brings chestnuts piping hot, with cream poured over, such a lot. And while they watch him happily, young Ursli eats enough for three. So there's the bell. There's Ursli, Mommy and Dad. The end. Now, I loved this book because my aunt and uncle had a great big bell hanging in their house. And it was from Switzerland. So when I went over to Switzerland as an adult with Mr. Kroll, I got myself a bell. So you see it's embroidered and it's got a gold clip, and this would be around the neck of a cow. And you can see it makes lots of noise. But when they have the procession, they hold it like this. I should probably hold it like this so you can see all this. And as they went around for the spring procession, people would put things in the bell and you would take that home. Kind of like trick or treat, isn't it? But it's to say that winter is gone and spring is coming. So I wish you a happy spring as well. And I'll see you soon. Have a great day.